Welcome to Stellar Sisters, the podcast where cosmic wisdom meets soul-enriching conversation.
We explore astrology, human design, and the unique blueprint of your soul, helping you understand yourself on a deeper level.
Consider this your permission slip to embrace the magic of being authentically you.
Let's begin. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Stellar Sisters podcast. We're your hosts, Chanel and Sydney. And today we're going to talk about eclipse season, the Leo new moon eclipse that just happened, and the Pisces full moon eclipse that is coming up. And before we get into that, we're just going to check in and see how we're doing. How are you doing, Chanel?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really good. I'm actually feeling a little sad that summer's coming to an end. I feel like it went by so fast and I didn't get to do all the stuff that I feel like I wanted to do, but we had a really nice weekend. We went to the fair. We took Otto to the fair and we just had the best day ever yesterday. We got to see all the animals and pet all of the animals and the baby cows and the baby pigs. And Otto had the time of his life going on the fair rides. This was the first year that he was tall enough to go on the rides. He could have stayed there all night going on the rides. So that was really fun. Yeah.
So
we
cute.
had a great time.
So fun. I love that. Yeah.
How about you? How you doing?
We just had Faye's 4th birthday party yesterday, and our theme was forever magical.
So sweet.
It was just princesses and dragons and knights and fairy themed kind of a thing going on. We did it in the park. We had an obstacle course and different activities for the kids. And my dad had this spontaneous little dance party that he did with them. That was just hilarious. My husband and brother-in-laws dressed up in these inflatable dragon costumes. They were running around the park and the kids were chasing them. And it was a really, really fun birthday party. And it was a lot of work and a lot of planning. But yesterday we were just talking about how yesterday was such a nice astrological day. It was the last day of the sun in Leo, and Jupiter is there. And at the time of our party, it was a Libra rising with Venus there. So it made everything in Leo in the 11th house of friendships. And we also had a Sagittarius moon. So it was just magical and light and beautiful. So it was a really nice day.
Yeah. That's so sweet and so fun. And happy birthday to our fairy princess Virgo queen, Faye.
Yeah. Thank you. I can't believe it's 4. It's going to be 4 tomorrow.
I know.
And I want to shout out my sisters for helping, and my whole family for helping set it up. And especially my sister Lucy, she hand painted her whole banner and set it up and did a whole balloon arch. And she just started a little side hustle doing these painted banners. It's called The Brushed Occasion. I'll link it in the show notes. And you don't have to be local. If you are, she'll drop it off. But if you're somewhere else in the US, she will ship it to you. So check it out because she does beautiful work. She also hand painted each. She hand painted each party bag with the kids' names on it. It was just, it just made it so special and magical. It was awesome.
She's so talented. I mean, she did Otto's 2nd birthday banner, and I mean, she's really talented. They're really gorgeous.
Yeah, they're just perfect. The way she does it, it's amazing. It just makes the whole thing come together really nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sweet. Happy birthday.
Yeah, it was a really nice feeling weekend.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of eclipse season.
I know. Eclipse season can feel a little rocky. But I agree that yesterday felt so nice. So great day for a party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but otherwise, I mean, eclipse season has been just leading up to both eclipses, like the new moon and this one is starting. I can start to feel it now. But it's like lack of sleep, just feeling drained, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
it's funny, like observing people around me, I find that just people have like an ailment that comes out of nowhere, or like something happens that derails their day and, it just sets them off track. It just seems just like a lot of, yeah, like rocks, bumps in the road for people that I'm
Mm-hmm.
noticing in general.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
Yeah. During eclipse time, there can be a lot of like events that happen that kind of shift a lot of things in your life. Or it can
Mm.
be like more internal where you just start feeling differently and kind of like wanting to express yourself differently or like, show up
Mm.
differently in your life. So it doesn't always have to look like big, huge events, but it can look like more internal shifts too that kind of affect who you are or what you want to do or how you show up in the world. So,
I feel like that's a very important message, what you just said. Like
yeah.
it can be very internal. And I think it's a lot of times it's just you processing it and it's not even coming out during eclipse season, but you're just like very inward and thinking and like, this isn't me. I don't want to do that anymore. But now how can I express it in a different way? How can I verbalize it and like put meaning and words to what I'm trying to become? Because you can like think that you're some way, but then to externalize it is so much, or articulate what you want to get across is such a harder concept than just like ruminating and thinking about it yourself and getting to this place where you're like, yeah, that's who I am now. And that's what I feel comfortable with. But then going out into the world and kind of expressing now this like new version of yourself, this new like upgrade of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it doesn't land with people that are close to you, and it's just like, it can be I think that's such an important message. What you just said is just, it can be so internal.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I'm thinking about that because this eclipse cycle that we're in now with Leo and Pisces, it feels more internal for me. It feels like things are maybe like shifting and rearranging internally. That is going to be expressed gradually over the next couple of years, So I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes when people think about eclipses, they think, oh, there's going to be this major external event in my life that changes me in some way. And they can be much more internal than that. And you can just start to think about small, subtle ways that you kind of want to show up differently. So maybe that's a good segue into kind of talking about these eclipses. We can talk first about the Leo eclipse. So the Leo eclipse happened about 2 weeks ago. So it's already passed, but it happened on August 12th. And this was a solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. A solar eclipse is a new moon eclipse. So this eclipse is kind of like a fresh start and a new beginning. Um, and this is our very first eclipse in Leo. And so the energy in the Leo part of our charts is only going to be building over the next couple of years because the eclipses typically take about a year and a half to kind of complete all of the eclipses in that cycle. So you can think about this as like the beginning part, like fresh start of this new chapter that's emerging. This Leo eclipse is significant because it is conjunct the south. It is a south node eclipse and it is co-present with Jupiter in Leo as well. So we can't really talk about the Leo eclipses without talking about that. Jupiter is the largest planet of the solar system. It is about growth, expansion. And in Leo, this is really bolstering our courage and our confidence. And so the South Node there is a release of old identities, of inauthentic ways that we have been expressing ourselves and allowing us to create this new beginning that's more authentic, that's less performative, and allowing us to kind of leave outdated or outgrown versions of our self-expression and identity behind. Let go of some versions of ourselves that have felt, performative for approval of who even knows? Who are we even never performing for? And tapping into, something that's just much more aligned with this more authentic version of self. I feel like I keep saying authentic, but it's just a word that I feel is really good for describing this energy.
Yeah.
And so this new moon eclipse, again, new moons, we're planting seeds. This isn't the full grown plant and fruit yet. This is just like, okay, we're planting seeds. We're starting to rethink this area. What part of yourself wants to be expressed more? What version of yourself wants to come out to play? What do you want to create? It's just kind of this really fresh start in terms of identity. And Jupiter in Leo there is really encouraging us to think loud and bold and be brave and have the courage and confidence to step into this next chapter of self-expression.
I just want to add to that the sun and the moon, with a new moon, they're at the same degree. This one was illuminating gate 4 in human design. It's an Ajna gate, and it's all about the details and being logical. So it's just a very more heady energy. So I just encourage you to kind of get detailed with what Chanel is saying. Like, how can I be authentic? What is the most authentic place I want to be in my life? But then like get even more detailed with it. Like, in what way beyond that? I want to be more authentic in my friendships, but how can we get more detailed with it? It's a more logical energy in human design, whereas this full moon eclipse is like so emotional and spiritual and deep and watery. Like, we'll get there in a second, but it's really interesting, the duality with the eclipse, just with the human design gates that these two this month have been illuminating.
Wow,
so I just want to add
that is
that.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that little piece there from human design. Yeah, I think that's great. Okay. Well, let's transition into the Pisces eclipse.
Oh, wait, I just want to say before we do that, if you want to hear horoscopes for your Leo house, we have an episode on that, and we're going to link it in the show notes. We're not going to do horoscopes today, but if you're interested in hearing that again, we'll link that so you can go back and listen, and there's timestamps, so you can just go right to your rising sign, and we'll do the same with your Pisces house as well.
Yes. Okay, the Pisces eclipse. So this is a lunar eclipse or a full moon eclipse. So full moons are a culmination of something or a releasing of something. And this eclipse takes place on August 28th. It is a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Pisces. And this eclipse is significant for a couple of reasons. So we've been having eclipses in Virgo and Pisces for the past year and a half, essentially. But this is the very last eclipse that we'll have in Pisces until the next eclipse cycle, which is about like 9 years away. So this feels very much like the culmination of a buildup of the past couple of years. And it's also significant because this is the first Pisces eclipse in this cycle where Saturn and Neptune are no longer in Pisces because they have ingressed into Aries. So all of our previous Pisces eclipses over the past year and a half have been co-present with Saturn and Neptune. And this one is just an eclipse Pisces where Saturn and Neptune aren't there. And so it feels like a very good way to kind of end this cycle of like, oh, we've had Saturn there, we've had Neptune there. This Pisces place in our charts has been feeling very heavy. Maybe we've had challenges there or setbacks, or we've just been working really hard in this area of our life. And this eclipse is kind of coming to You just have you take a breath, release, let go, help integrate some of those lessons that Saturn and Neptune have been pushing you towards in this
Mm.
place in your chart. And in Pisces, Pisces is a watery sign. This can be with the full moon in Pisces. This is like, oh, our emotions are really heightened. This can be like a big emotional release, something that needs to happen or be expressed or be felt to be able to release it and let it go. This can also be just heightened intuition. Pisces is extremely intuitive, extremely creative and imaginative. And so, making space for that, um, increasing your surrender. I think surrender is a really good word for this eclipse. Releasing the need for control, for perfectionism, for overthinking, and leaning into I am supported. I trust. I have faith that things will happen the way that they're meant to unfold. Um, Surrendering into the divine plan rather than your individual will. And so, yeah, I think this can be a good eclipse for if you're like really trying to like hold on to something, to control an outcome, to create a certain thing. Where are you trying to control that, and where can you turn that into surrender instead? I think the Saturn in Pisces was kind of teaching us boundaries around compassion and teaching us about, okay, where can I have compassion and empathy, but where are my boundaries around that? And so this can be like, how can I have compassion without self-abandonment? I think that can be another kind of really good theme
Oh, I
about
love that.
this, especially with that Leo energy, which is very focused on the self, you know? Um, so I think that sentence actually can be very important for this eclipse, because you might have, again, like I said, these heightened emotions, but then there's this like focus on like self and being very authentic and coming from an authentic place. And so, yeah, compassion without self-abandonment. I think that's really a good way to put that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And so I think during this time, like that, the Pisces energy will just be very much felt in the
Yeah.
collective atmosphere, so pay attention to your intuition, your dreams, your imagination, your emotions. All of those things will be felt. And also this Pisces eclipse is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is in Leo, and so they kind of just like going back to this interplay between Pisces and Leo, and compassion and self. And I think Pisces and Leo are also two of the most creative signs. So there's kind of this really like kind of beautiful, like creative self-expression energy happening, which I like. I'm into that.
Yeah, me too. Oh, wow. I'm excited. This 5 degrees of Pisces is hitting my north node in Pisces at 4 degrees. Or I think it's actually almost 5. It's like 455. Something like
Oh,
that.
yeah. Oh, so that's,
458.
yeah. And Pisces is what house for you? Oh, 6, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, all of what you're saying goes so well with the human design aspect of it, too. The moon is in Pisces in gate 55. And gate 55 is just like such a Piscean gate to me. It's all about spirituality, and it's just such a deeply emotional, intuitive gate of the spirit. And the sun is in gate 59, and it's the gate of intimacy, but just like it's a Virgo gate, and it reminds me of just the service of Virgo, and kind of it's in the sacral center, so kind of feeling into, okay, well, who are the people that do light me up? Like, who do I want to be intimate with? It doesn't have to be in a romantic way. How is my body feeling when I'm around XYZ person, really feeling it. The Leo new moon was a much more mental, logical energy. This is such a felt energy in the body. With 55 is an emotional solar plexus gate. So it's just amplifying the emotions even more. Pisces, spirituality in our solar plexus, really feeling like, is this going to make me happy? And then 59 is in the sacral center. So it's so deeply felt in the body, this full moon in human design. And then the other piece of this is that the sun and the moon are highlighting the new paradigm energy in human design. We're like entering the new paradigm in February of 2027. And we'll do a whole episode on that. It's kind of a complicated.
That's a big statement.
Yeah. It's kind of a complicated thing that I'll explain later in another episode. But
yeah,
basically, high level, for the past like 400 years, it has to do with the incarnation crosses in human design. And we've been living under the cross of planning for this amount of time. And it's really about like building structures and systems and community and like very tribal energy, working as a tribe to come together and build these things, schools, banks, these systems that we've set up over the past 400 years. And in 2027, we're kind of moving into this more individual type of energy where it's like, well, how do I feel? What's good for me? What's lighting me up? What's my truth? What's authentic to me? It's like the more you work on yourself as an individual, that then builds this, better world for the collective as a whole. It's more so really focusing on yourself and what is your authentic truth, because the more each of us can be authentic in our own way, then that just builds this new paradigm, this new world. So that's like, there's so much more to say about it, but
there's the key word, authentic. Again,
yeah,
Leo.
it just goes, so well with it's all connected. Human design is pulling from the astrology. It's just like getting into even more detail about it. But I just find it so fascinating, especially when you were saying that this is the last Pisces eclipse. And the fact that this is highlighting those two gates that we're moving into for hundreds of years moving forward. Like this is this new paradigm world that we're building. And it's not like it's going to happen in February 2027. These shifts have started already happening. We're all feeling it. We've already been moving towards this, especially with Pluto entering Aquarius. That's another piece of it. But this is really highlighting the energy of this cross that we're going to start to step into, which is the cross of the sleeping phoenix. So yeah, it's
incredible.
Mind-blowing.
Incredible. Yeah. Do you know what that makes me think of? Like, if work is going away, because I think that's the direction that society is going in, right? Like AI and technology is going to take the majority of our jobs, right? And
yeah,
so
have you seen I've seen a lot. I don't know if it's fake, maybe it's fake news, but I've seen how maybe we'll be starting to move towards a 30-hour work week instead of 40, 50, 60 overtime hours,
Yes. Yes. And so we will have more time to ourselves, more time, more free time. And I think that humanity as a whole is going to have a really hard time with that, because like obviously up until this point in time, for all of human history, we have had to work for survival, but if we don't have to work, I mean, there's so many different implications with this, right? Like it's so complex and so nuanced and so layered, and like
there's a shadow side, a low expression and a high expression of every single cross, every single gate, every single astrological sign. Like the cross of planning, which we've had for 400 years. Yes, so many amazing things have come from it. Like look at where we are as species, as humans. But what are like the dark sides? What are the dark shadows of building these different structures? And are they actually helping us? How are they helping us and how are they not helping us now? And we have to look at all of that. And it is like recreating this new thing. And we can't even like think of what that would look like.
Yeah.
But if we are focusing just on ourselves and what our gifts are and what actually truly lights us up and what's authentic to us and how it's feeling in our bodies and if it's making us happy, if everyone's leaning towards that, could we be moving towards that world?
Well, we will have to figure out more about ourselves if we're not always preoccupied with working. And I'm not saying that this is like a good thing or a bad thing necessarily. I'm just
Right.
talking about like this is probably inevitable, you know. And I'm not going to go into the morality of AI or anything, but like
Yeah.
that's a huge shift for humanity that I assume will take decades, if not
Yeah.
centuries, to really kind of like fully like flesh out what that looks like,
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, just think of Pluto like moving through Aquarius. We have that till 2040, right?
yeah, something like that.
And then it's going to go into Pisces. Like, what is that going to look like?
Yeah, I
That's
know.
going to be deep. Like Pluto in Pisces. Like,
I know.
that's what's next. So,
I know.
buckle up.
But it also kind of like everything you're saying, astrologically makes sense too. I talked about how we're entering the new era. We're entering the era of air. We've been in this 200-year cycle of Earth, which is exactly everything that you're talking about. Earth
Yes.
is practicality. It's building structures. It's building the foundations. It's like literally working. It's the physical realm. And now
Yeah.
we're moving into air, which is intellectual and technological and, communication and even relationship building. It's like, this is huge. This is a huge brand new era. Like I can't understate that. And just yeah, the whole 2027 human design thing and astrologically, it's kind of wild that we're living through this point in human
It
history.
is. It is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Can you
it
believe
is.
that we're living through this place and time?
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that just, I mean, maybe you kind of alluded to this, but it just feels like very fast communication with the air and Uranus and Gemini and Pluto and Aquarius and the nodes moving there and all the AI stuff. And yeah, it just like such fast communication. It's almost like, can we keep up?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's like, a very dark side to all of this too.
Yes.
And, very serious implications to AI and all of that too. I don't know. We can't fight what's coming because it's coming. You know what I mean? It's already like moving too fast to even stop it. So
Yeah.
we have to
But
adapt.
I think what the main messages that we're both saying is like, and I think we say this a lot in different episodes. It's like, can you turn inward? Can you figure out what is most authentic to you? And can you start articulating it and being that person that you want to be in some way? And it can be so hard to do that sometimes,
Yeah.
But like you said earlier, I think you said something like, who are we even performing for? Like when you really strip it back, like why are you acting this certain way? Because you think you want people to think you're cool, or like you want everybody to like you. Like, yes, I'm guilty of that. I want everybody to like me,
Right.
But is that authentic to me? Like if I am really my authentic self, there are going to be people that just, don't vibe with me, don't get it, don't want to be, a part of it. And that's fine. Like, can I be fine with that? Is that okay to like let that fall? Like let the people that aren't vibing with my authenticity,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That made sense. But
It makes complete sense. And I 100% agree. And it makes me think about just like social media nowadays and influencer accounts and things like that, it's like everybody is creating such like niche content about like who they are and like how they show up, and they're also being very authentic and raw and vulnerable. And I think part of it is like the more kind of like shocking truths or revelations that you put online, the more people want to see it, you know, or the more like kind of like views or followers that you'll get. But I think also part of it is what we're talking about, like this like Leo authenticity, this like kind of like freedom to maybe be yourself and find other people that like connect with you. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've noticed that online, but first of all, like the online influencer culture, like right now, is just so insane. Like there are so many accounts, so like unbelievable, like so much more even
Yeah.
than like 2-3 years ago. Like
Mhm.
everybody's doing it, and I don't know. I think there's something to that, and like the themes of what I'm saying. Are you following?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I have noticed that. And I do think the people who get on there and like just say, okay, this is what's going on with me today. It's not glamorous, you know? It
Mm-hmm.
does help. I think it does draw more audiences in. You know, it's like, okay, I want to see like what they're doing today and how they're showing up. But like you said, also, I think there can be a lot of shadow to that too. And there can be I've noticed a lot of accounts too where I'm just like questioning, like, is that true? Does that product actually work? Like, what are you influencing me for? You know,
Yeah.
just being more discerning with certain things and what people are talking about and doing and sharing. I think it kind of goes both ways, you know, like more authentic, but then so many things being like pushed down our throats and like, you should get this. This is what I'm using today. This is what, you know,
Oh yeah,
and
I
it's like, okay,
cannot follow
do
accounts
I
like that.
need that thing?
Mhm. No,
But
I
there's
know.
so many of them.
Oh, it makes me wonder what like social media will look like for like when our kids are teenagers, you know?
Like, you don't even know how to navigate that as a parent.
I know. Yeah. And I was listening to Oprah's podcast. She has a podcast where she talks about the different generations. And like
Mm.
she was also on that podcast, they were talking about how Gen Z, like they're not partying, they're not drinking, they're not even getting into relationships. They don't have boyfriends and girlfriends the way that like we did, or like even like our parents' generation did. They're not having sex. They're like losing their virginity like way later than like our generation did. And it's kind of like pointing to this, like everything's online. Like their relationships aren't in like the real world. Like they're like more so like having relationships online versus like in person.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
That's fascinating to me.
Like all of that. They don't want to drive. Like they don't like our generation. I remember when I like the day I turned 16, we were at the DMV getting my learner's permit.
Yes.
Oh,
You know what's so funny? A couple years ago, I was just like at the dog park, you know, small talking with someone else that had a dog, and he had a teenager at this time. And he was like, yeah, he's going to be 16. And my husband and I are like, oh, is he excited to start driving? And he's like, no, he just Ubers everywhere. He just takes my phone. He's like, Dad, I need an Uber. And he has no interest in driving. And I was just like, this was like 2018, 2019 that he was telling me this. And I was just like mind blown because
yeah.
that was something that was just, I was so excited to drive. It just felt like such a freedom thing in my life at the time. I loved being able to drive myself places. I can't imagine being like, I'm just gonna call an Uber, but I guess it might be the same thing. I don't know. It just doesn't it feel so rewarding to be able to like learn to drive, and be able to drive yourself somewhere when you're that age?
I mean,
At least
yeah,
back then it
but
did.
our lives when we were teenagers were like there was no social media. I mean, we had MySpace,
And Facebook, kind of,
Facebook. I
at
got
the time.
Facebook my freshman year of college.
Yeah, maybe I didn't have Facebook yet. You're right. It was just MySpace.
And social media was like
an instant
not,
messenger.
yeah. And you went on it on your computer. We didn't have smartphones. You had to be on your computer to get this. So
like we were printing out MapQuest I was printing out like the directions on a piece of paper off my computer and like holding the directions while I was driving, like trying to read the
I know. You better pray you don't miss a turn, or otherwise you're lost.
Yeah.
I know. My neighbors, they're across the street. They're in their 80s and they love my son and they like I always buy him little stuff at like garage sales and toys and are constantly bringing it over. But we were outside and they were leaving one day and they were driving down the street and they stopped to talk to us. And he was in the driver's seat and she was in the passenger seat with a map, with a physical map. And she was like, we're just taking a little drive. We're just taking a little stroll. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are like using your maps to like just go around the city and the county and like figure out where you're going. I was like, wow, I haven't seen that in a really long time. And I thought that was just like,
wow.
So just like eye-opening and bizarre. But anyway, not bizarre, but like, how did it make me feel? It made me feel like nostalgic.
Yes.
You know, and reminded me that like, oh yeah, like this is what we used to do. But yeah, I think we were the last generation whose childhoods were like physical, you know. We were like, we had to meet up in person. We didn't have these online worlds and online lives, and Gen Z is the first generation that does. And I think part of the not driving thing is like, we're just gonna like, you know, be online, you know, and we don't really need to like necessarily like meet up, you know. I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Do you remember just like having to call your friend from a landline phone, like to chat?
Mm-hmm. You
or
would
like be like,
memorize
hey,
your friends' phone numbers.
Yeah, I still have some of them memorized.
Yeah.
Hey, can Chanel come play?
Yes.
Can Chanel come and play today? Like that's what you call, and like the parent would answer, and then you'd be like, "Can I talk to Chanel? This is Sydney."
I know.
How funny.
I know. Yep. I remember that. I mean, I remember having a corded phone where like you couldn't have a conversation in private because you had to stand in the middle of the kitchen to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a kid then, so I don't know what conversations I would be having in private. But yeah, I thought that was interesting about Gen Z. And like people don't want to call and like order food, you know, they just want to do it on the app. They don't want to have to talk to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Things like that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
Do we just sound really old?
I mean, the boomers are way older than
I know.
Yeah.
It is very interesting though, because each generation like pretty much aligns with the dates that Pluto changes signs.
Yeah.
So like
we need to do a whole episode on that too.
Yeah, I really want to like do a whole episode on that. It's like,
yeah,
because the millennials have Pluto in Scorpio, the Gen Z have Pluto in Aquarius or Pluto in Sagittarius.
Sad.
And then Generation Alpha, which would be after that, they have Pluto in Capricorn. And then we're having Gen Beta right now, which is Pluto in Aquarius. So it's fascinating how the generations line up with the different Pluto signs.
It is. Yeah, we gotta do a whole episode on that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, if you are curious about your Leo and Pisces horoscopes, we did episodes on that. So like Sydney said, we'll link those in the show notes so you can go back and listen. And happy eclipse season, everyone.
Yeah, happy eclipse season. Let us know how it's treating you, how you're feeling. And if you loved it, rate and review us, please. Share it with a friend. And we'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.